So that's what we were. That's what I was going to say.
10-4. All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to Trinity Competitive Racing for another week of the Platinum class. And today we are in France for possibly the last time in TCR because the future of the track in Formula One is undetermined. But we're here for the halfway point of the season. It is round number 8 out of 15, and we have 12 people tonight. One of them being Seafreeze, the only one who has not put up a lap so far. And it's going to be a good race. My name is Camden Luca, and alongside me is Golden Class Driver, who had a good race last night. I'm sure you didn't get the result you wanted, but Sir Charles, how are we feeling about France?
Yeah, thank you. You didn't need to remind me of last night, but
Sorry.
Pretty demoralizing when everything goes your way and you end up just getting walked down at the end. But I digress, but yeah, this is going to be a good race. It's a fun track to drive. Actually, a really good track for racing, I feel like, on this game. So regardless of what your opinions of it are in real life, I know it kind of tends to divide opinion, but yeah, definitely a bit ironic as we move from the tight, windy streets of Monaco to the one most open track in terms of the walls literally being a mile away. But yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be a long, spread out race. Don't expect many safety cars. Of course, if only 12 guys, but also too, like I said, with the the walls being as far away as they are, so it's going to be a green flag affair.
Yeah, this track, I think you have the ability to get lost on more than any other track. And I've actually brought up the idea of doing either an exhibition race or 1 year doing an all-star race at this track, but we turn the rules off and we do a different track format because there's so many options you could do with how many layouts there are.
Yeah, definitely. Although I feel like some of the fun ones are kind of blocked by the barriers, which is kind of unfortunate. But it is what it is. But yeah, we got some guys on the track now. Like I said, already putting up some impressive laps. Like I said, DCOM 130.3. TJ looking good. Also, he's had an up-and-down season. But yeah, short grid, but we do have all the heavy hitters in terms of the championship out here, including a return of Seafreeze, who has had a up but mostly down season. So we'll see if he can turn his fortunes around here.
Yeah, Seafreeze dealing with a very minor foot injury. He's going to be toughing it out today and making his return. He has missed, I believe, the last 1 or 2 races, and he will be here today. We'll see what he does. He does have a win, as he does invalidate, so we'll have to see Seafreeze put up another banker lap. But he did win round 1, but like you said, afterwards, it's kind of been downhill ever since.
Yeah, definitely. That's the way it is with league racing. It can humble you pretty quickly, if I must say. But yeah, now looks like everyone's out on their second lap. See if I can get a weather report from the Platinum guys. No conversation in the group chat, so I'm assuming it's going to be a dry race. But let's see if we can get that just in case.
Something I am going to look for here in qualifying is teamwork. Let's take a look at Seafreeze. He is right behind an Alfa Romeo. That is Stanley. They are not teammates, but we have seen the past couple of days where teammates are able to work together in qualifying to give each other slipstream, especially down the long back straightaway.
Yeah, you can kind of cheekily cut the corners here. TCR rules does allow you to cut corners on your in and out laps. Of course, this is one place where you can do that to abundance, so you can kind of give your teammate a cheeky double slipstream without messing them up in the race. We saw the Ferraris, when Professional and Seafreeze are teammates, do that a couple seasons ago to great effect. I believe it was the last time we were at France when they did that. Also, Seafreeze soloing at France and Martin. It was D'Angelo's. Bats Plus, we missed that. But no, he is on pole now. So apologies to Bats, but that was a very, very good lap by him.
Yeah, very solid lap, and you see what he's doing right here. He's cutting the chicane completely, and you can do that in qualifying in TCR. If you want to get back to the pits and start another lap, you can cut as many corners as you want, and hell, on this track, you can probably gain upwards of 15 seconds just by cutting every corner.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we see, I think Bats was trying to give us slipstream to his teammate, but I think he's a little too far ahead of him. Maybe currently on a lap. He will have enough time to come back around and get another lap in. Maybe he's one of those guys who he definitely has the one lap speed. You know he can get pole. Has yet to put it together in the race, but he has gotten a couple podiums past 2 weeks. See what he's got. He improves by like 0.02 of a second, so that doesn't really get him anywhere, but yeah, it's a real tricky lap for qualifying, so you really have to ride the curbs as much as possible, which can be tricky to do without really upsetting your car. There's a lot, the curbs are so wide here, there's a lot of times you can get it just right, and then, like I said, we see this long right-hander before you get to the backstretch can be in hard traction zone, and then a tricky overtaking zone is this chicane here. You don't want to go side by side through the chicane, one, because there's a high possibility for contact, for two, because you just lose so much time when you do that. If you're the overtaking car, you want to have at least a wheel. If you're a car, you want to have at least a wheel in front going into the chicane. And if you don't have a wheel in front going into the chicane, you should probably send it into the chicane on the backstretch. Make sure you fully commit to move, or else it will probably end in tears. I have plenty of experience with that in multiple France races. I don't know right,
yeah.
that's a good lap.
Yeah.
Look how tight 3 through 6 are.
Yeah, but look how tight third and fourth is. Raikkonen, as good of a lap that it was, he is 1/1000th off of TJ, so I'm sure that he's not too happy with that, but still in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those guys are only 200ths ahead of Mebby and Vader. Vader, the nearest championship rival to B-Tom. I mean, he's going to look to improve his lap, definitely. Because he is in the pits right now, probably going to have one more lap. Yeah, Vader definitely looking to improve his positioning, because, I mean, he improves by a 1/10 and a half, and he jumps all the way up to P2, essentially, so... but yeah, he doesn't want any cars between him and B-Tom, that's for sure.
No, he doesn't, and not many cars on track right now, so I think this may be a good time to go over the points, which we haven't really been able to do the past couple of weeks, but our guys are getting it done in the points department, and we have them updated, so let's go over them real quick. B-Tom, he's only won a single race this year, but that consistency of being on the podium every week has him at 134 points, and like you said, right behind him, his championship rival yet again for a second straight season is Darth Vader, but Darth Vader only within 19 points halfway through the year, so he's going to be right there.
I mean, it should be 18. There's a bit of a glitch on the fastest lap at Britain. Hopefully that gets resolved here shortly, but anyway, continue with what you were saying.
Right behind them, well, not right behind B-Tom, but close to his teammate Darth Vader is Silent with 94 points. So if you do the math, he's 40 points outside of the championship lead and about 22 outside of B-Tom. If, like you said, the glitch gets fixed, it'll be 22 points. Lawrence, not here tonight. He's kind of on a part-time basis with 85 points. And I'm telling you, if he were able to race the whole season, I honestly don't think this would even be a contest. He's won almost every single race he's shown up to this season. And rounding out the top 5, like you said, Mebe, he's been strong the past couple of weeks, and he's up to 70 points.
Definitely maybe a bit of a surge. I'm watching Seafreeze. He's the only car out on track right now. There's a couple guys coming out of the pits, and he does seem to be struggling a bit.
Yeah, let's see.
The split. He had a huge wiggle in the chicane. Like I said, he hasn't set a lap yet, which is kind of odd, but...
into turns 14 and 15, possibly the slowest part of the track. And as he comes to the line, he's going to get a lap in, not invalid, and it will be a 131.2. So back of the grid right now, and I think that will do it for his qualifying. So that is where Seafreeze's time will stand.
Yeah, a bit surprising to see him that far down the order, but then again, he has played the game in a couple weeks, so we'll see what he does, if he's able to improve any, or if he maybe the Seafreeze's always been a guy who's had more race pace than quality pace, so we'll see if that can come to fruition here this evening. But yeah, I think we're about ready to see some hot laps here. One thing though is, especially in qualifying, it's really easy to invalidate your lap, especially when you're really pushing. I'm going to be watching Vader. It's going to be interesting to see if he can improve. He definitely has the most gain right now.
For sure, and yeah, it is like a parade. If you look at the track map in the bottom right corner, everybody all within Sector 3 of the track, and leading the train is Stanley as he comes out of the final corner to start his lap.
Bats Plus right behind him. Well, actually, Mebby, then Bats Plus, so the two Hosses. And I'm just looking at 20 seconds. These guys better get hustling, especially if you're Cam and the McLarens. They're going to be pretty tightly spaced here.
I think he'll be okay, but yeah, he needs to just accept the fact that he's going to have a McLaren in front of him here. It's going to be close. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Oh, and he just got there, so Cam will set a lap, but he cut it down to the fraction of a second.
Yeah, Bats Plus just had a big slide on the exit. Like I said, on that tricky traction zone, coming onto the back stretch, so he will not improve. So Bats Plus is going to have to hold steady and hope he's got something. Looks like Mebby went a little deep into the chicane. Mebby a big slide through the chicane, so I think he will not improve. Though he's still only got 200s down, so that might have ruined his momentum there a bit. Here comes Vader into the chicane. Let's see if he gets through here cleanly. Little wide, but he gets good entrance and a good exit. Let's see what a split is coming to the Sector 2 line. He's at over 10th down.
He is.
Coming to the split. B-Tom 3/10 up. TJ did not see it. Didn't see his split, so looks like B-Tom might be putting this thing on pole if he can hold it together here, although he is getting really close to Raikkonen.
I think he'll be okay. I think there's enough space there as Bats Plus to the line does not improve, not even close.
Yeah, like I said, he had a big mistake. Mebby overcame his mistake and does improve. He jumps up one spot. What B-Tom does. B-Tom on the curb a little bit there. I think this could be pole right here for B-Tom. 29, 30. There's a lap in the 29s. And TJ jumps right ahead of Mebby there to death, and that'll be it. So, a pretty not ideal qualifying for Darth Vader there. That's going to be hurting him, and he'll be kicking himself because look at how close the guys are in front of him.
Yeah, Ferrari, not a good effort in general. 6th and 8th, and Silent back in 8th. He has been one of the best qualifiers all season long, and if you look at his delta, he's down by almost 9/10 of a second.
Yeah, so that's surprising to see. He's been one of the guys who's been able to challenge B-Tom on raw pace during the races as well. So it'll be interesting to see again. Maybe race pace here, but like I said, qualifying is really important because these races tend to have a real green flag look to them, and I just don't really see. Vader and Silent are probably going to have to make up all that time on B-Tom, on track, like under green. So they're going to have to do it the hard way, and I just it's going to be hard to see that, see them accomplishing that. But like I said, you never know. These races, once you think you got them figured out, they tend to throw something at you. So.
I agree. It's looking like it's going to be a dry race today, which is the opposite of what we saw on Tuesday. And I will say about the start, though, Charles, if yesterday's start was any indication of what we might see here in the first couple of corners. Don't be surprised if somehow we at least get a virtual safety car or maybe a retirement or two.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had about 6 guys spin out yesterday. I mean, I went from 13th to 6th in a matter of 1 corner, and there still wasn't even a VSC, so I wouldn't even count on that. But yeah, I mean, turn 1 tightens really quick, especially if the way it goes straight back into turn 2, and combine it with that hump in turn 2, which is a really tricky traction zone. Yeah, this is a very treacherous first couple of turns, and like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if you see someone lose it, whether it be light contact on the entry or just someone getting a little too eager coming out of that turn. But yeah, it's going to be real tricky. And hopefully these guys can deal with it. Like I said, these guys, they're all the best drivers in TCR and some of the best drivers on this game. So I don't think it'll be too big of an issue. But like I said, we probably all thought that yesterday, and look what happened. So.
Yeah.
There's a slight chance of rain at the end of this race, worth keeping in mind, but especially if it goes green the whole way, I wouldn't matter. Of course, we saw it Britain, I mean, if it downpours, even if it comes with 2 laps ago, if it downpours, like it does at Britain, you never know. That could completely change the race. There's nothing subtle about the weather, Codemaster's weather system in this game.
Yeah. Let's put it in a prediction before the actual predictions. What if on lap 25 it is bright blue skies, and then all of a sudden on lap 26, God just takes a big bucket of water and kaboosh, it's all wet? Because that could happen on this game.
Pretty big pit delta here too. So then you're going to have I don't know if you've ever watched them, but it was Tiet Marduk had that career mode thing at Malaysia like ages ago, where one guy stayed out and he's able to run the AI down despite pitting on the last lap or something. We could have something crazy like that happen. I mean, that'd be interesting to see in the league race. Interesting to worth note, almost everyone into hard tires, which, again, I think's probably the better strategy if it goes green the whole way. I always like starting in the medium tires just because, if you get that early safety car or VSC, you can really take advantage of it here, but, yeah, predictions. I guess I'll get those started. Leave those in the comments below, please.
Yes, please do.
Thank you for watching, by the way. Subscribe. That fun stuff. Anyway, so yeah. Bats Plus. This guy is clutch. I like Bats. He tends to... One thing Bats is really good is that he races to the best of his abilities. He might not always have the pace to win, but he doesn't make mistakes. He will always be doing... He'll always perform to his best, so he's very consistent. But I think today, in qualifying, I think he's got the fire on him. I think it's going to be Bats Plus, BTOM P2, and not really a huge surprise. But I think Mebi's going to keep his momentum going. Go Mebi P3, so BTOM, and I'll have the 2 Hossets right, or Bats Plus splitting BTOM in second.
So I am going to take BTOM for the win. I think that's a safe pick. I think he'll get off the line fine. Yeah, well, when you're the championship leader, yeah, I think that's the safest pick. They're coming to the line. I got to pick 2 more people. You know what? I'm going to do a bold pick. I think TJ gets back on the podium. I think it's been a little bit, but he'll get on the podium for a McLaren 1-2, and I promised I would put Seafreeze on my podium, so Seafreeze will make his way up in the 3rd.
All right, well, Seafreeze on a hoping a prayer here, and let's see who doesn't know how to park here. I actually missed my parking spot and shit. So, God Any Wee doesn't know how to park. Silent doesn't know how to park. It looks like, who else didn't park, right? Raikkonen doesn't know how to park. Come on, guys. It's literally the easiest part of the game. Come on, guys.
It is. But they are all parked and ready to go here for round 8 of the French Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go for round 8 of the French Grand Prix. Who gets off the line? Good. BTOM gets a terrific start. He gets out ahead of the Haas drivers as they head down into the turns 1 and 2. Will we see contact in these 2 corners? The midfield is going crazy. A Mercedes has gone around. That is Raikkonen off the track.
Yeah, they were 3 wide. I think Raikkonen had a lightning start, and the track just really narrowed up on... I don't know if Silent got wing damage or not, but he was 3 wide and was forced off track. Wasn't really gotten any weaves thought. He was the one who forced them off track because, like I said, they were 3 wide, and I think Raikkonen might have just been one on the inside there. Dude, kind of a wrong place, wrong time if you're him.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just looking at it visually, it doesn't look like Silent has any damage, but like I said, that doesn't really mean a whole lot in this game. TJ didn't have a great start, but he only lost 1 spot to Nebby, so it's the 2 hosses chasing B-Tom. B-Tom's going to look trying to get the hell out of Dodge here before DRS is enabled.
Let's take a look at the positions gained and lost. Pretty basic, except for that spin we saw from Raikkonen in turn 1. He went off on the left-hand side, and after a good qualifying effort, well, that's all for naught now.
Say, who did he glance off of? It'll be interesting to see if there's interesting to see who he did bounce off, because someone got a lightning start on the inside. I couldn't tell who that was. Maybe it was C-Freeze. I have no idea, but it wasn't Raikkonen who I was looking at, because Raikkonen's a bit further up. It'll be interesting to see if they made any contact with any of the front runners, you know, like a TJ or Vader or any of those guys. You have to do something pretty egregious, though, to get a penalty for a turn 1 incident. I'm not saying that's not unprecedented, but it'll be interesting to see what, if anything, comes of that. And yeah, now I imagine B-Tom would pull away here at some point, but right now, that thing stands all aboard the Taz train. Everyone's kind of in a line here.
Well, it's looking like it's about to be the Bats train, because B-Tom is about to have his own little train and get out of that 1 second gap, and if Bats doesn't stay there, then he's going to be the leader of a train, and he's going to have everybody right behind him.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how he does. Like I said, I know B-Tom, he tries to get away early. That's what he does. That's kind of his MO. If he gets away, it's going to probably curtains for the rest of the field. Like I said, you know, B-Tom, he's got or Bats a decent gap on Mebby as well, so it's not like Bats is holding everyone up here. And of course, I don't know if you didn't really have a chance to do this in your race, but that long right-hander, you know, where Charles Leclerc spun off at, if you're right on someone, you can really do a cheeky dive up the inside and get a spot. It's one of my favorite overtaking spots in the game. Fortunately, you know, I never had a chance to put it to use yesterday, but watch out for that, especially if these guys remain in the train. They're going to have to get creative with their overtakes.
The overtakes are about to happen, I feel, as we are now on lap 3, which means you can hit that green DRS button and get a run on the guy ahead of you. But like you said, everybody is going to be in a train, so overtaking won't be as simple as said. But as we have trouble for Ben, who started on the soft tires, and now he is really in a tough situation.
I feel bad for Ben. He was one of the drivers that got caught up in the first turn melee yesterday. So yeah, he's probably looking for a little bit of redemption here this evening, but it does not look like that's going to happen unless you get a ESC or safety car or some sort of help in that regards. But yeah, I'm just looking at it. Looks like the first break in the train might be coming between Mebby and TJ. Also, Stanley is now going to be under attack from C-Freeze. So nothing comes of it this time, but yeah, Stanley, he's probably another loser from the Ben swerve and spin, because he now has no one in front of him.
Yep, and that's going to put C-Freeze right there with him, and I feel like these two always find a way to battle with each other. Will your statement come to fruition? No, C-Freeze does not make the move there in that right-hander.
Yeah, you really have to commit and also have to trust that the guy on your outside doesn't do anything. Well, I shouldn't say stupid. I mean, it's not exactly the spot you would expect someone to make a move, but you know, yeah, it could get a little hairy there. But yeah, I agree. Stanley and C-Freeze always seem to find themselves together. And look who's back in the party. It looks like Raikkonen's going to be back in the party here. So, as far as spins go, he's not completely out of the race, and of course, Raikkonen, you know, he does have decent amounts of pace. So I don't know, he'll definitely get some points on offer for him, I feel like.
And one thing I do want to watch, and you want to watch it every week, but after I saw how much battery people use in the Golden Class race yesterday, I just really want to just go through the grid here and see where people are at with their battery. Stanley has abused it. Cam has murdered it. He's at 8%. That's nuts.
That's something that bit me yesterday. Like I said, I was kind of hovering between 10 and 20% from which the whole last cent, and I was keeping the guys behind me pretty much in check, but what I didn't know is that they had pretty much their entire battery to spend over the last 3 laps, and suddenly those 2 or 3 tenths that they were gaining on me a lap, which I didn't really care about, suddenly became a second, and then all of a sudden I was in trouble. So just patient with your battery. It can come in handy at the end. Kind of goes without saying, but yeah, Bats Plus looks like he's really pushing the battery more than he usually does, just to keep up with B-Tom.
Yeah, I bet you that gap will not stay as it is. He's just, like you said, just making some sort of an effort to stay with him and maybe get to him and force a side-by-side battle, but I think this is a losing fight Bats Plus is up against.
Yeah. A lot of it can come in the setup, too, because this track can be pretty harsh on tires. If you have a setup that's pretty good on your tires, your pace can really come in at the end of the run if you take care of your stuff, as been serving their tires in the pits. Yeah, looks like no real movement. From you have Vader, who is also really taking care of his battery. Like I said, there's really nothing he can do because he's in a train, so he doesn't really have an opportunity to overtake anyone at the moment.
Seafreeze and Stanley, I don't think he's close enough going into the chicane. He might get him next little chicane that we have here, right after the... might get him on the straightaway right here.
Well, it depends on if Seafreeze decides to dump his battery, which he is. He gets to the inside, yeah, and I think Stanley will have to yield that position, and he does. Let's see if Stanley chucks up the inside here. Oh, I think he thought about it, but didn't quite. You're allowed to crank the wheel, too, in order to get that, and it can really unsettle the car if you're not careful, so. And then look at the gap up front. Looks like Bats is now out of DRS range, and now it'll be interesting to see if there's any Gunther Steiner's barking over the radio to see if there's any team orders.
Yeah, oh, he's definitely on the radio right now. He's probably thinking, I love my 2 drivers that I have this season. Who would I want next season? He made statements recently saying he would want, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc. He said that he would not want Lewis Hamilton next year if Hamilton goes into free agency.
I did not see that. I'm not entirely sure why he wouldn't, although, maybe it's just the fact of he knows Haas can't afford him. I mean, let's be honest, that's probably a very real thing, but I don't know why if the opportunity presents itself, I'm not sure why you wouldn't want Lewis Hamilton unless you're... I mean, Haas isn't a team that hires young drivers. Like I said, we've seen that, like I said, with Hulkenberg coming in for Mick, who, despite his crashes, did show some promise, so Haas prefers experience over, experience and steadiness over young drivers, so I'm feeling that's more than that than Lewis Hamilton, in my opinion, but yeah, I don't know. I have not been paying attention to F1 news, unless you count the Fernando Alonso Taylor Swift rumors.
I love the way that reporter presented the question. It was something like he found a way to put blank space into the conversation, one of Taylor Swift's songs, and the way, he threw it at Fernando, I think Fernando was blushing a little bit. He definitely didn't say yes or no to the question. So there's your F1 celebrity rumor of the week, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know how Taylor's sense of humor is, but I know Fernando would totally do it, just to invite her to the F1 paddock for Miami, just for shits and giggles, just to get everyone up in her uproar for no apparent reason. Like I said, I don't know if she would like that, but I'm sure there's already been talks just to get into it just for shits and giggles, but it'll be interesting to see if anything comes of that. And now Mebby dumping his battery, well, there'll be a move here. And looks like it's some team orders there as Bats who pulls over and lets Mebby through, so now it's Mebby's turn. Oh, and B-Tom with a big tank slapper on the exit of chicane there.
Yeah, you notice his battery has gotten lower, and I saw he used some after that little snap just to have some sort of recovery. But B-Tom maybe not having the pull-away speed that at least I thought he would have here at the start. Not that much quicker than the rest of these guys. Although Medbay's battery is almost gone, and you could say the same for Bats Plus, so maybe everybody's just draining the battery.
Looking at TJ, 70%. Darth Vader, 60%. Got any weeb? Well, he's pretty much drained the battery. Silent has drained the battery. Let's go through everybody. Cam's drained the battery. Seafree's sitting, got a decent amount of battery left. Stanley, better than some people. And Raikkonen has a decent amount of battery left. So, if I'm Raikkonen, I'm gonna short pit like crazy here to try and gain some track position. Of course, we've got to keep gotten any weave. I feel like he'll be falling off here shortly. This is about when I felt the Eaton tires start to lose a little bit of pace yesterday. Just based off of, I started on the mediums. I'd imagine he'd start fading here shortly. And Silent will be looking to get around him in the next couple laps. But like I said, as long as he's got any weaves in the train, not much can be done as Mebby gets right on B-Tom's gearbox.
Yeah, he's right there on B-Tom's gearbox, and TJ right there on Bats Plus's gearbox. He might be trying to make a move very soon.
Yeah, TJ could have gotten a move done there, but like I said, TJ probably doesn't know how much battery Bats Plus has at the moment, so TJ right on the back of Bats Plus.
Yeah, TJ, good. I don't want to say anything because I jinxed him at Britain, but this really is looking great for TJ. I think he could really use a good run like this, and he's not up here by accident. He qualified up front, and he's staying up front right now, going for a potential podium.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be nice to see him have a good run and finish the run, too. I know I'll probably just jinxed him, but hey, commentator's curse is subjective, right? Do you really believe in it? Like,
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. Or do you?
For myself, yeah. Maybe not for you. Maybe it applies differently based on how psychic you are, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, no one's commentator cursing me because I'm running 10th place every week, but
Well, you got to do more. You either got to do more platinum races, or I got to go down to Golden and commentate Golden again. As here goes Mebby for the lead.
Yeah, like I said, going into that chicane, you need to be ahead, or you need to absolutely send it. And of course, Mebby's on the outside there, so I don't think either was an option. Mebby going to try and dump some battery. I don't think it's going to be wise because, like I said, yeah, B-Tom used a bit of battery to get out of the chicane there.
Yeah, and defensive skills as Mebe goes back down to the inside in turn 11, close to contact, nearly making wheel contact, but they get away with it, and B-Tom holds that spot.
Yeah, and you just saw Silent was momentarily past got any weed, but apparently he hung on to it. I think Silent tried to do the old inside move in on the Charles Leclerc turn, but now got any weaves out of DRS range, so if of course, now if you look ahead, there's a giant Constantino effect coming up. If Silent can get an exit here, and he does, I think Silent will have Gunny Weep into turn 1 here. And that's an easy move.
TJ might have a move on Bats Plus for P3. They hit, they keep it straight, and TJ makes quite an overtake.
Here comes Professional. Or Vader.
Same thing.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah.
Well,
That's surprisingly struggling here. Usually has some pretty good race pace, but Stanley, first victim. I was getting ready to say when Mebby went wide there at the beginning of Sector 3, I'm pretty sure he picked up a penalty, or a warning at least, I should say.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're about to see a lot of battles, so keep your eyes peeled, because we're getting to the point to where the hard tires are going to slip a little bit. They still have a lot of life left, but for Gottany Weeb, he's going to be in the pits relatively shortly, and he's actually the only one not on the hard tires.
Yeah, and I'd say, you know, anywhere like 10 to 12 was probably the sweet spot.
Got any weep squirrely out of turn 11.
Like 10 to 12 is a sweet spot to spin, and after that moment, I would, if I was him, I'd pit right now, so obviously they're at the fall-off point, the medium tires are.
Yeah, you notice his pace is really starting to drop here the last couple of laps. Everybody ahead of him is staying together, but Got Any Weeb is about to be, well, he's not alone now, but he's about to be when Cam gets by him in about 2.6 seconds, as Stanley has retired. Was that in the pits?
I don't think so. No, I think he might have hit the pit wall. So now it's a safety car. Ooh. Got Any Weeb is a happy man right now.
We will find out what happened there. That will be on the shorts. I will make sure that we will have that footage on the shorts. That's probably what that looked like.
Yeah.
Wow.
Alrighty. So, and see, I mean, let's be honest. The mediums. Do you pit for mediums? Because I mean, there's no way they'll. I think they'll make it, but it won't be fun the last few laps. Let's be honest.
What else would you do in this situation? There's literally no other option. You have to. I don't see any point in pitting for softs just to make another pit stop. You know.
I mean, yeah, I think everyone has to pit here. And Got Any Weeb, like I said, if he can just stay attached to the train, a lot of guys. I mean, he'll be on hards for the first part, but if he can just stay attached to the train, I mean, he'll be in a real good spot at the end of this race. Because them mediums are going to, like I said, I mean, we've seen it, like after about 8 or 9 laps, the mediums really start to fall off.
You know who's not in a good spot right now is TJ, and he is backing everybody up to try and prevent a double stack, and you can't back up too much, you know, you can't play too many games, but he's going to be in trouble either way, I think.
Well, that's the thing, though. The guy behind him, Bats Plus, is probably perfectly fine with him doing that, because he's in the same position that TJ's in. Now, Vader is probably in an upset spot, because I think this could be great for Vader. So I think Vader's might jump both Bats Plus and TJ here, because of the double stacks. And he does jump TJ. What about Bats? Bats is out. And Bats gets ahead of Vader. Ooh, Bats gained 2 spots there, didn't he? Or, TJ.
You know who gained a lot of spots is Raikkonen, who stayed out.
Hey, it's worth a gamble. I mean, get another safety car. I mean, you're in the back. You got to do something, right?
I guess, yeah. I mean, that's quite a risk, and I'm sure B-Tom doesn't appreciate this because he's gonna have to get around him quick. You know, I think this will be pretty easy. Hopefully, Raikkonen doesn't make it too tough for him, but it will be a little obstacle in his way.
And it's kind of funny to me. TJ backing up the field, loses 2 spots in the pits to Bats and Vader. Bats probably got lucky he didn't lose a spot to Vader as well. But yeah. And Silent's the big loser there. I mean, Silent was probably, you know, once he got around, Got Any Weaves, he was like, finally I can start racing, and now he's in last, basically. So, and then I tell you what this does also do. Weather forecast is calling for rain at the end of this race. The slower we go, the more time we have. Just pointing that out.
The slower we go and the more time we burn might play into these medium tire runners a favor compared to Got Any Weeb. You think about it, if we do, I mean, we should be going back green this lap. I know we'll do at least one more, but say that we go back green at the beginning of 14, the mediums will only go 13 laps. Like, that's not terrible.
It'll be 14. Actually, but
14 because you're starting. Okay, so 14 laps. I mean, really though, that's not terrible.
It's not. Yeah, it could definitely be worse. I don't know why the safety car didn't go in. I mean, I guess Stanley really just annihilated the pit wall there, although everyone just pitted. So you know.
Well, yeah, everybody pitted.
And now
Raikkonen.
Like, if you're going like. I'm not entirely sure what his idea was there. now that I think about it. But anyway, I guess he didn't want to be the guy at the front of the field. But I mean, that was going to be real interesting there to see if him at the front instead of Taz. But yeah, we're talking about all the battery issues. Well, batteries are reset now, pretty much to 100%. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you know what? Now B-Tom has nothing to worry about. He's got no car ahead of him. He can control this start however he wants. And, he'll be in a good position, I guess, to try and get away from everybody else. But like we saw here before the safety car, B-Tom was not able to get out of DRS range. So now that Mebe is ahead of Bats Plus, does Mebe challenge B-Tom for possibly his first win of the season? And I'm not as in tune on the statistics as you are, but I can imagine it would be Mebe's first win in a while.
Yeah, if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure he only has one career win in the Platinum class. I can double check that real quickly. Platinum class.
Yeah, make it quick, as safety car in this lap, and B-Tom holding a pretty slow pace. He does have a long way to go until he gets back towards the start-finish line at this track, and he goes very wide. That was just a desync. As you would say, I digress. But yeah, B-Tom...
He has one win out of 14 podiums. He's one win in 9 second-place finishes.
Jeez.
So... yeah, that hurts. And B-Tom goes real early.
Yep. Like I said, it is a long ways around the track from when the safety car announced its pit entry, as B-Tom leads the field back underway on the front stretch, and he already has a good gap over both Haas cars.
Yeah, definitely. And now just puts Mebby in a position where he's going to have to drain some battery just to get to him. Now, if you're Vader, you're probably going to want to get around Bats Plus and see if you can challenge the top two.
Yeah. Yeah, he's within half a second right now. TJ didn't get the best launch. Got Any Weave was close to him. I think Got Any Weave just had a slip in these last couple corners.
Yeah, well, man, that's just the hard tires for you. I mean, Got Any Weave's the one who's... I mean, everyone's got to be careful on cold tires, but especially Got Any Weave. Especially if the clouds covering track temp's probably going down a bit.
Oh boy. If we get rain at the end of this race, and like we talked about, Mother Nature on this game is unrealistic, so if we get rain, it's going to screw everything up. Inside! That was nearly disastrous for Silent, but he keeps it straight and survives another day.
And if you're Silent, Silent's going's got to be really frustrating because he's in a good spot before the safety car finally getting some track position, and now he's got his work cut out for him to get a decent finish. And you got to keep in mind, Ferrari in a good spot in the Constructors' Championship, but it's the first time where, McLaren's probably is the closest challenger, and if TJ finally looking like his old self, McLaren's not out of it by any means in Constructors, so got to keep that in mind. That's probably what Silent has on his mind as well.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I like Mebe's pace right now. He's drained a lot of battery, but I really think he showed up to play today, and he's going to be a contender. As B-Tom going defensive, and dude, those clouds have gotten a lot worse just in the past lap. I think we're going to see some rain here.
I think so too.
Oh boy!
As soon as we say that, we'll have a lightning delay before it actually rains in this game.
Oh, that would be realistic, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Man, he is right there on him. I think with how much battery Mebe is already drained, if he's going to do the move, he needs to do it soon because he's got that battery disadvantage. And although his pace is good, you could argue B-Tom's pace may be a little bit better, but they're both pretty even. But Mebe definitely needs to get something going, try to get to the inside of him.
Yeah, I agree. You don't want to wait, and like I said, B-Tom is very canny in terms of his racecraft. He's not someone you just sit on for and wait for the last lap, even if you are faster than him, which you know, it's not many people can say that. You know, yeah, I feel like, you know, I'm a proponent of, you know, get the move done when you can, but I think it definitely goes. It especially applies when you're racing B-Tom. If you have a chance to make the move, just go for it. We'll see if he's close enough here. I'm not sure if he will be. He's using the battery. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't think he was quite close enough.
He's going to try it to the outside in the chicane. Close racing, but he does not get it. So yeah, I agree there. Contact in the chicane. Seafreeze gets ahead of Gotney Weeb and does it with some muscle. That was some good hard racing, but it's not over. Here comes Gotney Weeb right back on him.
Yeah, now here comes Mebby. Will Mebby try to chuck it up the inside? Oh, he thought about it, and yeah, the B-Tom, that was not a smart move by Mebby.
Silent. Gotney Weeb. That's the second time I've seen Silent try and take a peek through turn 11, but it is really hard to make it happen through there.
Yeah, and they've got Cam right there for company as well. Gotney Weeb is just like, yeah, he's just trying to hang on for another couple laps so these tires even out a little bit. I think Silent might be in a real good spot here. TJ with the fastest lap. Silent's drained a lot of battery, though. He does seem to have a good straight line speed, though. Just, you know, eyeballing it there. He's basically pushing Gotney Weeb through those first couple corners there.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This would be a great scenario for that side-by-side camera that we see NASCAR coverages do, because we're going to need it here. The front two within striking distance of each other, and pretty much 4 cars in the midfield, all within each other.
I think Vader is the one who needs to dump the battery here. But he's not doing it. Yeah, top 5. We have a 5-car breakaway at the front. Seafreeze a bit further behind. Yeah, and B-Tom has like 70% battery left. I think maybe he can just continue to hold his pace. I think he'll be in a good spot here. As Vader looks on Bats Plus, backs up the corner. Thought maybe he'd have a lunge there, but
oh, turn 11 Silent is a third time a charm through this corner for him. I don't think so. Into turn 12, and he still does not have the move done. So deja vu of last week where Silent getting caught behind somebody who is possibly slower than him, and I'm sure he's going to want to make a move done here pretty soon.
That was a really good defense from Gotney Weeb there. Like I said, I had to hold it along the outside and just give him just enough room so there wouldn't be contact. I'll tell you who's wanting for rain and then hoping for rain, who's really good and tricky. It's raining.
Oh no. Get the umbrellas out, ladies and gentlemen. Another TCR rain special in the Platinum class. And boy, this is going to be a wet finish.
Oh boy, and I tell you who's liking this. The guy in fourth.
Here automatically.
I mean, unless you're in a Midwestern thunderstorm. But you kind of see those coming. Vader all over Bats Plus there.
Yeah, well, check this out. DRS is disabled. Silent into the pits to put on intermediate tires.
Silent might have just pulled a fast one here. Silent might be looking like a genius here. Depends on how quickly these conditions deteriorate, though.
Yeah, I mean, look at B-Tom's point of view. It is getting worse, and we'll have to keep an eye on just his grip here in the chicane.
Silent out of the pits now, and I mean, yeah, it's gonna be real risky if you even try to go for a move now.
Oh, TJ spins out as we were on board with him on the exit of the chicane. He was running in 5th.
And I'll tell you someone who really struggles in the wet, and that's Bats Plus. Like I said, I do feel like... Oh! There's some glitching on my end. But I feel like B-Tom needs to make this move right now. Not B-Tom, Vader. Sorry.
Well, B-Tom is under pressure. Both Haas cars in a battle right now. This is a good view. We have an eye on both of these as Vader has more pace.
Yeah, if you're Vader, though, just back off a little bit, because you're going to pass. You're going to leapfrog Bats Plus in the pits right here. Or Bats will just stay out, because he doesn't want to get held up by the double stack.
Oh! Speeding in the pit lane. Oh, man, that's going to hurt his race.
It will definitely hurt his race. The B-Tom stayed out.
He did.
Oh. Dude, these guys know something we don't.
It's gotta be.
Now, I mean, if it goes to intermediates, I mean, could it dry up again? I mean, like I said, weather in this game makes 0 sense. So it is possible. Maybe just rage quit.
That's crazy. Out of the race after getting a speeding penalty in the pits.
I mean, he had a top 5 locked up, a top 4 really of TJ spinning. I mean, assuming it keeps raining and, you know, the guys up front are absolutely screwed. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on the gap. Let's watch the gap between Gunny Weeb and Darth Vader here. Silent really didn't gain a whole lot of ground. But, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Vader is closing hand over fist over got any weed, or is he? Yes, he is. I'm looking at the wrong numbers. Anyway, I digress. I'm digressing a lot.
Yeah, that is your favorite word. Yeah, take a look at this. Vader is within striking distance. He might get him here in this right-hand corner.
And if you're Vader, you're just screaming into your microphone, like, okay, buddy, just catch your break here. And Got Any Weeb does, and Got Any Weeb's a veteran driver. He doesn't fight that, and I think Vader just pulled a fast one on all these guys, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Oh, and Raikkonen spins! I think it's just a single car spin. He'll get it going, but he's one of the guys who stayed out.
Yeah, Raikkonen spins, B-Tom in the pits!
Bats Plus, still going. Not sure why, but I mean, yeah, might as well, I guess. I mean, but if you're Bats Plus, maybe just Bats Plus is just throwing away a podium.
Well,
now,
take a look at the lap count, though, Sir Charles. I think they'll catch up to him, but it's gonna be close. We don't have many laps left. In all seriousness.
So, assuming everyone has to pit, who is sitting net P2 at the moment?
Mr. Seafreeze, I was just about to say, look at how much time he gained on B-Tom, and look how much time B-Tom lost, and Silent getting ahead of Got Any Weeb. Man, this just changed everything, Charles.
And having Seafreeze between him and B-Tom, I mean, let's take a look at who has the fastest lap. So the fastest lap's not getting beat again, assuming it doesn't dry out. How do I get the fastest lap on this dumb thing?
For the lead, Darth Vader got by Bats Plus. So yeah, Bats Plus made a huge mistake staying out, and he's about to get victimized by Seafreeze. And Seafreeze, I put him on my podium, Charles. Seafreeze is in contention not only for a podium, but really, if he can challenge Darth Vader, if Vader makes a mistake, Seafreeze could win this thing.
Speaking of hot and cold, if you're Seafreeze, I mean, he wasn't even supposed to be racing here. Like I said, he's dealing with a foot injury. That's why he missed Monaco. Well, that's why he says he missed Monaco. I just think some guys just don't want to race Monaco. I know Seafreeze is the one calling people out on that, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to race. Anyway, I'm kidding, Seafreeze a little bit. But
a little bit.
But if you're another guy who's really benefited from all this is Silence. Suddenly, it was looking like a rough day for Ferrari and the constructors, and now looking like a fantastic day for them. Well, TJ's right behind them, but still.
Yeah, I don't understand why Bats Plus is still staying out. At this point, you're gonna fall down. I mean, if the other guys don't pit, then you're gonna fall down to at least 7th. But you might as well just pit and try and get something
TJ,
back.
time penalty, and that's gonna. Well, he has no one behind him to challenge him, so that could be an irrelevant penalty right there. I tell you, who's creeping? Oh, well, it was Seafreeze. I think he just made a mistake there, but yeah. I mean, like I said, with Seafreeze between Vader and B-Tom, I'm just thinking championship implications here.
No kidding.
Although B-Tom does appear to be closing on both your leaders, but like I said, with no DRS, he's going to have to make these overtakes the hard way.
For sure.
Seafreeze and Vader, I mean, I know Vader had to spin at Britain, but he is kind of in a no-lose situation, just, everything to gain, nothing to lose. The top 3 really are just guys who just don't make mistakes. I mean, knock on wood, obviously, but you don't see these guys make mistakes. Hardly ever. Obviously, some of the guys do. I mean, just guys who come from the back. I mean, obviously, not only Seafreeze, but Silent too. I mean, keep in mind, Silent was plumb last. Well, I guess Raikkonen was, because he pitted a lap later. But Silent was plumb last on the safety car restart, and he's now in 4th. Like, there's some crazy storylines here. That were just fought here in this race. If results don't hold. Like I said, we've had some few instances, and knowing Bats Plus, he's one who's not very good at the rain, and I do feel like the rain is maybe a bit more difficult on the pad. Maybe I'm just saying it because I raced on the pad myself, but we do know that pretty much everyone in this class, aside from maybe Bats Plus, I'm sure there's some others that use the pad. Like I said, I think Stanley does. But I know for sure our top 4 are on the wheel. I'm actually pretty sure TJ's on the wheel too. So our top 5 are all on a wheel.
What in the world is Cam thinking here? Is he smart or stupid for this? I don't know what benefit he's going to get.
Well, for this particular move, I'm going to say neither, but he's kind of stupid for staying out as long as he did. He's like everyone else. He's in a no. I mean, he was so far back and staying out on the medium tires. He had nothing to lose situation. So at that point in the race, I understand with him where he's just like, yeah, why not? Let's do something. But he shouldn't have stayed out as long as he has in the first place. So I mean, he's guaranteed points. Just finish the race.
Yeah, if only everybody thought that way. Honestly,
honestly, Mebby would still be on paper for top 5 probably. So yeah, I don't really get that rage quit by Mebby. I mean, I understand him being angry, obviously, but there's only 10 people left in the race. Man, even if you hate driving the rain, just and you use like 6 laps in the end. I mean, I just want to point out before I get too off track here, sooner or later we're gonna have a battle between Seafreeze and B-Tom. But yeah,
and Silent and TJ too for P4, and he does have that penalty, but he could at least make things interesting for that spot.
Yeah, and if you're Silent, just hold him up. Don't do anything stupid. Hold him up as long as you can. But if he gets a spot on you, just let him through. Don't want to risk anything for nothing, if you will.
Seafreeze P2. He's gained a little bit, but this won't be enough to get up to P1. TJ2 for... You there?
I am.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. Yeah, so...
when he's down. But like I said, he's got no one behind him, and so he should cruise home to a 7th place finish, which, from pole, he'll be bitterly disappointed in that, I think. Now, if you're Vader, if you're Vader, I'm feeling pretty comfortable about where I'm in regards to Seafreeze. They've been pretty much mirroring each other's lapse times. I just want Seafreeze and B-Tom to hold each other up a little bit here. Give me some breathing room for these last 2 laps, because I know these guys are all probably on pretty much edge here. I say just inside of 3 to go here. I mean, B-Tom was almost 4.5 seconds back at one point. He's now down to, he's closed that by 3 seconds on the leader. As soon as I say that, he has a bit of a wiggle there coming onto the backstretch, but I didn't really. But if you look at the battery, though, I mean, B-Tom has drained his battery to catch up. Seafreeze doesn't have much battery left, to be fair, and Vader has the most battery of all these guys. So, obviously, you don't blame B-Tom for using his battery in this case. He had to catch these top 2 and catch them in a hurry, but kind of leaves him with nothing to fight for these last couple laps here. Fight with, I should say.
Yeah, for sure. TJ and Silent getting closer. This is going to be a great finish, as we have really the top 5 all in some sort of a battle for position on track. And I think the one we really need to watch, though, is B-Tom and Seafreeze. I think they're going to fight pretty hard for this spot. But look at the front. I think Vader went a little wide there.
He did. Like I said, Vader's got the battery. I will say, before we get concentrated on the top 3 here, knock on wood, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable in saying this, TJ has yet to have a top 5 all season.
Oh, God. You just jinxed it.
I'm saying that now. He has 33 seconds to rake it in behind him. You can't blow this now. Surely he'll bring it home for a top 5.
If he crashes out here, you are going on the next short. The next short that gets uploaded is your commentator's curse. I'll make it tonight.
I mean, the walls are 10 miles away. I mean, come on. He can afford to spin like 3 times and still get... Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. We have a heck of a battle up front, by the way.
We do, and we have some lap cars, too. They are ghosted, so they won't be in the way, but take a look at Seafreeze. He's draining the battery, and he is going for a win here in the French Grand Prix with 2 laps remaining. He has really gained a lot of track position on Darth Vader.
Oh, man, it's pucker time if you're Vader. I mean, this could be 2 weeks in a row, a huge swing in championship points. It was 28 points a week ago. If results hold, it will be down to 8.
Here's B-Tom right behind Seafreeze trying to apply some pressure, but Seafreeze, he's living up to his name. Ice cold right now.
Yeah, and B-Tom knows it too. He needs to get around Seafreeze these next couple corners. And I'll just say this, to add to the tricky conditions, it's drying up. It does not look like it's raining anymore.
Maybe that's
B-Tom. He's going to go for it into the last turn. Seafreeze wisely defends. That's going to be all about the exit. Seafreeze does a good job parking it.
Final lap, side by side for P2. This is everything Darth Vader wants to see.
For sure. Seafreeze had to empty the battery there, too. He's got nothing left to fight with, but I'd say Seafreeze and B-Tom have no battery. Vader still on 35%, which is a lot for these guys. But yeah, it looks like Seafreeze has the pace. Both of these guys seem to have the pace on Vader, which is surprising considering how good Vader is in these wet and intermediate conditions. Ugh, I'm getting tongue-tied here.
Back straightaway now. B-Tom using the battery. Seafreeze not within striking distance. Can he make a move into the chicane? He does not have the striking distance to get him right here. Darth Vader looking good for a second straight win, unless he makes a mistake.
Yeah, but these two guys... Oh man, this could get interesting. B-Tom with a pretty good run there. Seafreeze goes defensive, real defensive. Gives him a little bit of space on the outside. I think he was just moving in back to the racing line here. Now Seafreeze really has to guard the inside. He does. Yeah, man, he was thinking about that overtaking spot there. And he well defended it, did Seafreeze.
Yeah, he's going to keep it. B-Tom pushed. God, and he weeps pushing. At the front, Darth Vader, for the second week in a row, is going to be a victor, this time in very tricky, wet conditions, and he is going to get closer to his championship rival for the lead in the standings. Darth Vader wins the French Grand Prix Round 8.
Ooh, and Seafreeze holds off B-Tom there. Some really good defending, because B-Tom was definitely looking for that lunge into the final corner. It'll be silent P4. I mean, Seafreeze with a great drive all the way from the back. He started dead last. And then silent 2 for solid drive from dead last after the safety car restart. TJ, first top 5 of the year, as much as you can, as hard as that is to believe. And I think, honestly, if it would have stayed dry, I think TJ was looking good for a podium, if I'm being honest. He's probably didn't want to see the rain. And it'll be Raikkonen, who was never really in the race, but despite the spin in the first corner, finishes P6, so not a bad race for him.
Jeez, look at this junkyard on the front straightaway. Got any Weeb and TJ. Man, where's the tow truck? Oh, it might be right there. There's the tow truck. He crashed right in front of the tow truck. Good job, Gottany Weeb.
Yeah. And here comes Bats Plus. He'll be frustrated from pole down to T7. And I'd say Bats Plus is definitely a dark horse to win a race before the season's up. And then I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't win a race before the season's up, because he's for one, he just needs it to not rain.
Driver of the day is Seafreeze. I had him on my podium. He started dead last and almost did a perfect back of the grid maneuver to go from 12th to 2nd. Couldn't quite get first, but considering he nearly wasn't going to race tonight with the foot injury, puts his Michael Jordan flu game on the track and gets a P2.
Yeah, definitely impressive. Definitely lends more theory, or more validation to my theory that he just didn't want to race Monaco because of Monaco last week. But regardless, great drive by Seafreeze this week. But yeah, I don't think anyone really saw that coming, especially after qualifying. But hey, Seafreeze, he has 140 podiums or something in TCR. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but it's well over 100. So we shouldn't be surprised. That's what I'm trying to say.
Not at all. Darth Vader, man, he's getting hot at the right time. Going into the second half of the season, this is a really tight race now between these two, and I think Darth Vader, well, let's put it this way, Charles. Would you have said by halfway this year that Vader would have more wins than B-Tom?
No. I could see them being close in points because, Vader's probably the most consistent driver we have. I mean, one of the most consistent drivers we have on the grid, but, that's just... To say that B-Tom's only won one race this year is... It's surprising, and it'll be interesting to hear his thoughts, because he did wait a lap to pit when the rain came out, so... It'll be interesting to hear his thoughts there. Because, B-Tom, I feel harsh in saying this, but he kind of threw it away. I'm not entirely sure what the McLaren pit wall was thinking, but I don't know, some Lando Norris strategy there that kind of cost B-Tom the win, in my opinion. So, because he was definitely faster than those guys in the wet as well, which I was not expecting. But
for sure, but we will get the podium guys in for the interview, and we're going to add Seafreeze in here for the first time since round 1, I believe, right? Round 1?
Yeah.
Wow.
A bit of a drought. All right, where's the Platinum Comms chat?
All right, so I'm in there. Are you in there?
Yeah, we'll be here in a second. So.
All right, so we're getting everybody in here for the interviews. Let's see, do we have everybody in here? Well, now we don't. All right, now we do. So let's get this rolling. So we're going to start with P3, the McLaren of B Tom. And man, could have been P1 today once the rain came into play. That kind of screwed you up. You stayed out an extra lap, and you had a close fight with the top two at the end. What was there anything you could have done there to get by Seafreeze, or was his pace just too good there in the closing laps?
It wasn't necessarily his pace. I mean, I felt comfortably quicker than both Professional and Seafreeze. I think I was the fastest on track on the inters by some margin, but it's just really hard to overtake in the wet because you don't have DRS. I mean, you guys saw it when I was struggling in Britain. Silent was all over the back of me, but never got the opportunity. So I did try a couple of different things with lines, but it just was never quite enough. Because I think he had a bit more straight line speed. I don't know if that's DRS or setup, but yeah. Once I saw the gap to Professional when I was pitting, I knew I was pretty much screwed. But yeah, pretty much like the entire time I was expecting it to dry out at the end, because that's what it said on the strategy screen pre-race. It was like one patch of rain and they're supposed to dry out. But it turns out from lap 20 onwards or whatever lap it was just going to get worse. But yeah, I didn't think I would close up to them as quickly as I did. But I knew like even if I did catch up to them, it would be pretty hard to overtake one, let alone both. So yeah, GG to them, but man, that's retarded. I mean, I was cruising pretty much the entire race up until that point, but that's how it goes.
I do want to just shout out your teammate, TJ, who did get his best finish on the season, and he pulled off the fastest lap. So just any thoughts on that and, what it means to have a great day, really, for McLaren and constructors?
I wouldn't really consider it a great day. I mean, Ferrari still built the gap because Professional got the win. But yeah, it's nice to see TJ starting to find his form again. I know he's been pretty busy with college and work and stuff since, he's about to graduate. And, that's a pretty hectic time, but, hopefully he can start to take steps and maybe get back towards the form he had in season 14, if not better. But, I don't think we'll win the constructors. Just purely because Professional and Silent are a little too consistent, and I think it's going to be too little too late, even if TJ does pick up his form, but we'll see. It's still, 7 rounds to go, so you never know what can happen.
Right on. Charles, any questions for B-Tom?
Yeah, just talk about the decision to stay on the extra lap and what was going through your head there, I guess, in terms of, do I pit, do I not pit, and, what was going on there when you had to switch over to enters.
Yeah, so basically, I checked the weather report, and they kept saying that slicks were the fastest tire, not that it's going to dry up. So I was like, okay, I'll just stay out and go to the end. But then, on the next lap, midway through sector 2, I just had zero grip. It went from being roughly similar to the level of grip I had on the inters at the very end to being like non-existent. So at that point, I was like, yeah, it's GG. But yeah, I don't know why the game does that. A lot of the time, the weather report is not. If it was slightly inaccurate, I could understand because it's set to approximate, but it's way off. So, and if you're basing your strategy around that, then you're basically screwed. But yeah, it's kind of nice to see that Seafreeze got a podium in these conditions after he got screwed over last time. So
yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, I was a little annoyed about
Let's go.
Like, I wanted him to do well. I wanted him to.
Yeah, we got
do well. I was like,
people to meet, places to go.
yeah. But yeah, I saw you come out in front of me. I was like, oh, that's nice.
No,
But I would still prefer to be ahead, obviously. Yeah, I guess what goes around comes around, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah.
I will say, it'd be cool if, kind of maybe something that would solve this issue, assuming it would work properly, which is a stretch with these games sometimes. There's like a little radar you could have in like the corner of your screen where you could like see like the rain clumps moving across. You'd have an idea of, okay, is this going to be something worth changing over tires or something, that could solve the weather inaccuracies, in my opinion. But
that would be pretty clutch.
It's probably asking too much.
Yeah, they're never going to implement that. They're too lazy to do that, but yeah, you just have to deal with it.
All right. Well, B-Tom, congrats on another podium. And you were 8 for 8, I believe, in podiums this year. So welcome to the club.
Yeah, it's still been a pretty poor season by my standards, but yeah, not too bad. I hope I can get a 100% podium rate. Highly doubt I'll be able to match the win count I've gotten in the last 2 seasons, but yeah. I mean, as long as I win the championship in the end, it doesn't really matter. It's just numbers.
Yeah. Well, and I know you and Camden are great in podiums. If it makes y'all feel any better, I'm 8 for 8 the other way.
That's awesome. Well, you're going to make it 7 for 7 in the other direction, Charles, to finish out the year, right?
I mean, I'm checking. I'm not sure if it's raining. I don't think it's raining big, but we'll see.
He just needs a little rub of the green. That's all.
Yeah.
I need something.
Yeah. Well, speaking of green, green luck on Seafreeze's side today, going from 12th to 2nd, easily driver of the day, nearly going last to first. And you had some overtakes early on in the race, but it was the rain that really helped you out. After pitting at the wrong time in Britain, you pitted at the perfect time today, and you find yourself on the podium. Just take us through your race and how you're feeling.
Yeah, I mean, kind of surreal because I wasn't planning on racing this week. I was on the IL, and that felt good today. And I saw we had lower numbers, so I said, might as well give it a try. I did 4 laps in time trial. Quali wasn't there at all. I needed probably a little bit more just to get me up to where I need to be. But the race pace felt pretty good. The first stint, I lost track of the pack actually twice in that race. With the DRS was really strong. So if I could have qualified a little bit better, would have gained me some time. Maybe I would have had a different result. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how this is kind of what I expected. How the rain should like on the game. It started drizzling. It took a lap or two to really get into the pit. What happened at Britain was one sector, it started raining and immediately downpoured. I never saw that ever in an F1 game. So, yeah, I thought maybe one time the strategy will go right, and yeah, it's I just had my head down, kind of when I knew the rain was coming. I'm like, all right, we could try to make something happen, and everyone had a couple issues, some spins, some penalties, some people staying out when they should have pitted possibly, so gained a lot of time there. And yeah, when I was calculating, where am I going to come out? I was like, I might even get a podium. But then I realized that I think Bats and Cam still didn't pit, so I was like, maybe a win was on the cards. But Professional was able to get right out ahead, and if I didn't have Taz behind me, I would have had my full focus ahead. But because I had a car behind me, I had to it's really a tough situation. I say it a lot when I do comms that you have to give 50%, effort towards the overtaking and then the other on defending. So it was just a tough situation to be in, but yeah, happy with the result and, good win for professional and podiums for Taz. And I think it's going to be interesting coming down the stretch.
For sure. And I know that we have a few weeks until the TCR Grand Prix, which will be in Italy this year. I know that's circled on your bucket list. You're really going to want to do as best as you can in that race. But what's just your expectations going forward these next few weeks? And do you think you'll have a shot at possibly getting back on the top step of the podium when it's all said and done here this season?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out and see. We'll see how the next few races go, and I did pretty well for doing 4 laps, so I might just keep doing what I'm doing. Because I feel like when you put in all the practice and you do Monday through Thursday practice, you get hit by a golden driver reserving. So I don't know. Frustrating season, but it's how it goes sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I totally get that. Yeah, definitely not fun when other people are in your way. Charles, any questions for Mr. Freeze?
Last time we're doing this season, I don't know. I might have to. I guess I'll see. How's the foot doing? Was it affecting you? Did you notice it during the race, or is this all just a sham? Or we just faking it last week so we didn't have to race on it? No, it definitely hurt a lot more last week. A little pain I had built up, and we'll see how I feel tomorrow. I'm gonna ice, and I should be good to go for more races. Maybe not, the consistent practice each day. I think is irritating it, but today it didn't affect me really too much. Just the little lack of. It affected me in quali because I didn't have enough practice for qualifying. But in the race, I felt pretty good. The intermediate stint was just weird because it feels like you're glossing over the track. But I felt like once I was in there, I felt like normal. And the setup felt pretty good. I think I had higher wings than most. So when the rain hit, it was actually all right. So yeah, I'll be all right. And I wish I was there last week, too, to be honest, in Monaco. It's unfortunate I missed it.
Yeah. Well, go celebrate. I'm sure you're going to enjoy the podium. Don't celebrate too hard, though. You can't injure that other foot. You got to make sure you have at least one foot fully functioning. So congrats on the P2.
Thank you.
And now we move on to P1, Mr. Darth Vader, Mr. Professional, whatever you want to call him. Second week in a row, you're on the top step of the podium, and man, you're getting hot at the right time. And I know the wet conditions definitely helped you out today, but just talk us through holding off Seafreeze there in the closing laps. And I know you said last week was a really special win. Where does this one compare to last week?
Yeah, it's pretty special, but I think last week at Monaco was more special. I don't think I was that strong in the wet, and it was really tough holding off. Well, I wouldn't say really tough, because he never really got the chance to fully attack, because Taz kind of closed up on us and distracted him a little bit, which kind of eased off the gap. So I was able to relax and just kind of drive the last few laps. I had 2 warnings and one lap, the final 4 laps, I was getting kind of sweaty at the end, trying not to cut the corners. I couldn't see anything too. When the last 8 laps or so, it was so glossy, and I couldn't see the curbs at all. It was weird. The track and the curbs meshed into one sort of color kind of image. And so I was kind of guessing where to turn, and just I couldn't see anything. So and plus no confidence too. Plus there's no practice, so it was a tough race, but I really enjoyed it. In the dry, I had a lot of pace. Well, I had some pace, and then towards the end of the hard stint, I noticed that Taz was either taking it easy, which I don't
think he was because he had cars behind him, and why would you take it easy when you have 5 cars behind you? Or he just didn't have the pace, even though he said he did, which is kind of funny. Anyway, I was closing up, and I could probably overtake if I dumped the ERS, and I was going to, and then the rain started, or there was a safety car or whatever. But yeah, I think Seafreeze probably had the pace in the wet. I think it was easy for Taz to close up on us because I was like a turtle, and whenever Seafreeze is stuck behind a turtle, you're going to catch up no matter who you are, even if you're Seacrest. I mean, anybody, it doesn't really matter.
Where's a rainbow emoji when you need it?
Yeah, sort of slipped out, you know. But yeah, it was a good race, and I enjoyed it. And 2 wins in a row, so the points gap, I'm sure, is less than 25 that it was last week, or 18. I don't even know what it is. But yeah, good fun. I had a good time.
I really feel like we need to bring up the safety car because we didn't get footage of it, but we believe that Stanley ended up hitting the pit wall, actually, to bring out the safety car.
It was good, so don't report it.
All right.
What did he do? Like, who did he do it for? Yeah,
I think the draft was on. I heard everybody was
something. Yeah.
No, I thought he was behind me. I thought he spun off the final corner, but I don't.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Or he missed the pit entrance because you have to I don't know, something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
But yeah,
A weird way to crash.
Yeah, and when that happened, though, we saw a lot of double stacks. TJ, I saw, was really trying to get a gap in between he and B-Tom. What was going on from your point of view? Because I know Silent ended up losing a lot of positions in the pits just because you guys were obviously both really close to each other.
I mean, he would have lost a lot of positions in the pits anyway. That's what happens when you double stack, and maybe he would have, maybe saved 1 position maybe in the pits if TJ didn't drive it that slow. But it wasn't like he was doing it on, it was a super aggressive, slowing down thing. He was still 1 second off the delta, so it's not like it was 5 seconds or 7 seconds like what PK did in Singapore. Or, I don't know. That was a bad analogy. But it didn't affect, I don't think, the end result, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. I think people remember him for a different thing around Singapore.
No, yeah, it was crashing on purpose, which is, that was, again, a bad analogy. So
I understand. I get it. Charles, any questions for our race winner for the 2nd week in a row?
I mean, I feel like I ask this every time, but I mean, I think I'm on are you thinking about the championship late yet? Because, I mean, I don't know if you want me to say it, but it's really close up top. And, it's looking pretty good down the stretch. How are you feeling about the upcoming tracks and what the rest of the schedule has in terms of, how do you feel about the rest of the schedule?
I have no idea what the next 3 tracks are, I'll be completely honest. I don't even know what the rest of the tracks of the season are. Really I don't know what the tracks are. I don't know what the points are. I'm just kind of going race by race. Yeah, I've thought about the championship, and it's close. It's definitely much more even this season, pace-wise, between myself and Taz. I think he still has the edge overall on most tracks, but I think there's been a lot of points recently within the race, after halfway through the first stint, that the pace advantage kind of disappears, and either he backs off and is just kind of taking a Sunday drive, or I'm just starting to gain in on that, on the time and stuff. So it's really interesting. I've noticed that trend this season. I know he has too, because he's made comments about it in the Discord with setup and kind of the direction he's been going in. So interesting to see the rest of the season, kind of how this plays out, to see if there's any contact between me and him, any crashes. I'm sure that'll come sooner than later.
Doubt it.
I mean, hopefully we won't crash, but sometimes it happens. So we'll see. I'm excited.
All right. Well, there you have it. That is the podium interviews done from France. And Charles, we are officially more than halfway through the season, and we got some fun tracks coming up. Next week specifically is Canada, and I feel like the person that just doesn't get penalties is going to win that race.
The corner cutting Grand Prix next week. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Like I said, that's one track to expect safety cars in too, so the walls are pretty close, but yet going to be interesting to see if the championship comes out down the stretch. And especially, shoot, it rains a lot in Canada, so there could be a few more twists and tangles.
Yeah. Then the week after, though, okay, the week after is COTA, and that will be the race before the All-Star race, I believe. So you got to make sure you get in the top 5 in points. Top 5 in points from each class go into the All-Star race, unless if one of them can't show up, then you get an alternative. Charles, are you close to making it to the All-Star race, or are you going to need to win these next couple of races?
I mean, I'm going to need to win and have a couple people fall off the face of the earth, and then might make top 10. I don't know. Mid top 5 might be a bit of a stretch, but y'all have fun.
Yeah. Oh, I will. I'll have fun. And everybody will have fun next week in Canada for round 9 of the Platinum class, and Silver and Golden as well will be in Canada next week. So prepare for penalties and potentially some weather. And if you've been following TCR the past few weeks, we've had plenty of it, especially in the Platinum class. So make sure you tune in. And if you are looking for a league, we have plenty of spots available for all 3 classes. So go to our website at trinitycompetitiveracing.com. Sign up on there. Even if you're not looking to race right now, you can join the Discord. Just check us out there, see what's up. And check us out next week for round 9, the Canadian Grand Prix. My name is Camden Luca. That is Sir Charles. And we will see you next week in Montreal.